We all know this phrase.
Say again, please.
Houston, we have a problem.
Or how it was truly said. The story of Apollo 13 captivated Americans and many people from around the world. But there is a part of this flight that is less known, the part where some tape and plastic sheets saved the lives of 3 astronauts. Let's go a bit technical and start from the beginning of the story. In April 1970, NASA launched Apollo 13, its third manned mission to land on the moon. The crew was made up of Jim Lovell, Jack Swigert, and Fred Hayes. The Saturn V rocket launched vertically from the launch pad, with the first stage providing most of the initial thrust to lift the rocket off the ground. The stage burned for about 2.5 minutes before it was jettisoned and fell back to Earth, landing in the ocean. Once the first stage had burned out, the second stage ignited and continued the ascent. The stage burned for about 6 minutes before it too was jettisoned and fell back to Earth, also landing in the ocean. The third stage ignited and continued to propel the spacecraft toward orbit. The stage was used to placing the spacecraft in the correct position for the mission, then to boost the spacecraft out of Earth's orbit. The spacecraft was now in its intended orbit and was free to carry out its mission. The CSM would then use its engines to move away from the LM, turn around, and redock. Once the 2 modules were connected, the LM would be extracted from the third stage. It was now ready to descend to the moon. Everything was going well until 2 days into the mission, an oxygen tank on board exploded, damaging the spacecraft's power, oxygen, and water systems. This left the astronauts stranded in space with limited resources and communication. The crew transferred from the command module to the landing module as a lifeboat. One of their most critical problems was the buildup of carbon dioxide in the spacecraft due to damaged CO2 filters. The solution was to use the lunar module's carbon dioxide filters in the command module. However, the 2 spacecraft were not designed to be compatible with each other's life support systems, and the filters were different in shape and size. With the help of NASA engineers back on Earth, the crew had to improvise to make the lunar module filters compatible with the command module's life support system. The crew then had to build this adapter using only materials they had on board the spacecraft, which included a flight plan book cover, a sock, and duct tape. Meanwhile, NASA's mission control team in Houston worked tirelessly to conserve resources and guide the astronauts back to Earth. The mission control team had to use the moon's gravity to slingshot the spacecraft back toward Earth, requiring precise calculations and teamwork. Despite these challenges, the crew of Apollo 13 remained calm and worked together to overcome the obstacles they faced in space. Their courage and perseverance inspired people around the world. Millions of people followed the mission and prayed for the astronauts' safe return. This was the amazing story of Apollo 13. So next time you are in a pickle, remember to have some duct tape on board.